It was late afternoon, and the sun painted golden streaks across the trees in Brookside Park. The place buzzed with life, kids racing around the swings, joggers gliding along the trails, and couples sharing quiet conversations on benches. Darius, a 16-year-old high school junior, walked along the gravel path with his backpack slung over one shoulder. He wasn't there to enjoy the park. It was just a shortcut on his way to pick up groceries for his mom. Halfway through the park, something unusual caught his attention. On a weathered wooden bench near the playground sat a small tan leather purse. It looked out of place, almost abandoned. Darius paused. His instincts told him to keep walking. It wasn't his business, but curiosity, or maybe his sense of right and wrong, got the better of him. Looking around, he saw no one searching for anything. Slowly, he approached the bench and picked up the purse. It was light but sturdy, with a few scuffs on the corners. His heart beat a little faster as he unzipped the main compartment. Inside, he found a wallet, a set of keys, and a folded receipt. A driver's license peeked out of the wallet. The photo showed a middle-aged woman with soft blonde hair and kind eyes. Elaine Carter. He read the name and address aloud. Glancing around the park one last time, he saw no one who seemed to be looking for a lost purse. He sighed. This wasn't what he planned for his day, but he couldn't leave it there. Shoving the purse into his backpack, Darius resolved to find its owner. The walk home felt heavier than usual, as if the purse carried more than just its contents. When Darius arrived at his family's small apartment, he placed the purse on the kitchen table. His younger sister, Maya, peered at it with wide eyes, her curiosity barely contained. "Did you find that? Is it full of money?" she asked. Leaning closer, Darius shook his head, pulling out the wallet to show her. "No, it belongs to someone, Elaine Carter. Look, her ID's right here." Maya wrinkled her nose. "So what are you going to do with it?" "Return it," he said firmly, though the words felt heavier than he expected. It wasn't as simple as it sounded. His mom, wiping her hands on a dish towel after her shift, glanced over. "You're doing the right thing, Darius. But be careful, okay? Not everyone trusts folks knocking on their door, especially not strangers." Darius nodded. He knew what she meant, even if she didn't say it outright. But something in him couldn't let it go. Elaine Carter had to be worried sick about losing her purse, especially with her ID and keys inside. The next morning, after double-checking the address, Darius hopped on his bike. He pedaled through the neighborhood, the autumn air crisp against his face. As he rode, his nerves started to build. What if she didn't believe him? What if she thought he'd stolen it? The thought made him hesitate for a moment, but he pushed forward. He had made up his mind. When he reached Elaine Carter's house, a modest brick home with a porch swing swaying gently in the breeze, he took a deep breath. Standing there with the purse in hand, he rang the doorbell and waited. The sound of hurried footsteps approached, and the door swung open to reveal Elaine herself. Her expression shifted instantly from suspicion to relief and finally to gratitude. "Oh my goodness," she said, her voice trembling. "You have no idea how worried I've been." Darius held out the purse. "I found it at the park. I figured you'd want it back." Elaine took it from him, her hands shaking slightly. She opened it, checking the contents, then looked up at him with watery eyes. "Everything's here. You didn't take anything?" Darius shook his head. "No, ma'am. I just wanted to make sure it got back to you." For a moment, Elaine just stared at him, her expression unreadable. Then she smiled, a genuine, warm smile that made Darius feel lighter. "Thank you," she said softly. "Thank you so much." Elaine stepped aside, gesturing for Darius to come in. "Please, at least let me get you something to drink. You've gone out of your way to do this." Darius hesitated, glancing at his bike parked by the sidewalk. "I'm okay. Really. I just wanted to make sure you got it back." But Elaine was insistent. "I won't take no for an answer, just a moment of your time." Reluctantly, Darius followed her inside. The house was cozy, filled with the scent of freshly brewed coffee and hints of lavender. Elaine motioned for him to sit at the small kitchen table, and he did so awkwardly, unsure where to place his hands. She returned with a glass of lemonade and a small plate of cookies. "Here," she said, setting them in front of him. It's the least I can do. As Darius sipped the lemonade, Elaine sat across from him, her eyes still scanning the purse in disbelief. I was convinced it was gone forever. My whole life is in here. My ID, my cards, even a picture of my husband. She hesitated, her gaze lingering on the photo as her voice softened. He passed away a few years ago. I keep his picture with me everywhere I go. When I realized the purse was missing, her words trailed off, and she pressed her lips together to stop them from trembling. Darius shifted in his seat, uncomfortable yet empathetic. I'm sorry about your husband, he said quietly. Elaine smiled faintly, brushing a tear from the corner of her eye. You've done more than you know. Darius, I want to give you something for your trouble. She reached into the purse and pulled out a crisp $20 bill. Darius's hands shot up in protest. No, ma'am. I can't take that. I didn't do it for money. But you deserve it, she insisted. Darius shook his head firmly. My mom always says we should do the right thing no matter what. I wanted to help. Elaine studied him for a long moment, her expression shifting to one of quiet admiration. Well, she said, tucking the bill back into her purse. Then maybe there's another way I can help you. Darius blinked, confused. What do you mean? Elaine didn't answer right away. Instead, she leaned back in her chair, a thoughtful look crossing her face. Tell me, Darius, what do you want to do after high school? I've been thinking about college, he admitted, but it's not easy. Elaine nodded, a small smile playing at the corners of her lips. You remind me of my son. She gestured toward a framed photo on the mantel, a young man in a cap and gown. His name was Ryan. He passed away in a car accident 5 years ago. He was bright, just like you, always had big dreams. He wanted to be an architect. Darius shifted uncomfortably in his seat. I'm sorry, he said finally, his voice barely above a whisper. Elaine smiled gently, though her eyes glistened. Thank you, but I want to honor him by helping someone else. I have friends in the community, people who care about education. If you're serious about college, I think we can make your dream a little closer to reality. Darius felt his breath catch. You don't have to do that. I mean, you don't even know me. Elaine's smile deepened. I know enough, Darius. And besides, it's not about what I have to do, it's about what I want to do. For the first time, Darius allowed himself to imagine a future where college wasn't just a distant hope, but a real possibility.